If you don't sit in your lucky seat, your team could lose. So don't leave your lucky seat. But do pick up your phone or computer and order B-dubs to go. Or if you've got a big group, call in for the party menu. That way you can order wings, pick them up, and get back to your lucky seat. And if you do lose while sitting in your lucky seat, you can still feel lucky eating your feelings. Spicy feelings. Keep your superstitions. We do it for you. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Prices and participation vary. See participating locations for details. Void where prohibited.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York girl. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 321. I am Jay, and with me is Mark. How you doing, Mark?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
I'm also 2016, the year of the
So there's been, I believe, the Celtics game finished before we finished last episode. So there's been 3 games since the last episode.
Let's just pretend it was over.
Yeah,
It probably was, and who the hell cares? No one wants to talk about that game. So let's pretend we had a good week.
All right. So 2 in 1 week.
2 in 1 week. We beat 2 very good teams, and we lost to a third good team. We had a pretty solid week, and we should be very hopeful about this team, right?
Sorta, yeah.
I'm gonna start. You seen the movie Shawshank?
Yeah.
I want to start with a quote from Shawshank.
Okay.
This is if you remember. It's from Red. Do you remember the character Red, played by Morgan Freeman?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. That's how I feel as a Knick game. I think it's a Knick fan. I think it sums it up really well.
Yeah, it's just weird that they look like different teams from not even game to game, quarter to quarter.
They had 2 insanely good wins this week, and it makes me very hopeful, but this team has been playing so bad, and I still see lots of problems. I don't know. The hope's not there for me.
I just don't get how you get outscored by 23 points in the fourth quarter.
That was crushing against the Bulls. That was absolutely crushing.
It was just, what the Bulls hit 5 threes in a row?
You know what it is? It's not that I don't have hope for the future, because with Porzingis, and I think we're building on something, and we will be good eventually. I just don't have a lot of hope that this season will be a good season.
Well, on the plus side, we're 1 win away from last season's total 3 months earlier.
That is a lot earlier to have. When do we win last? When did we win our 17th game last year? It's that guy? That guy? I don't know. Was it the last game of the season?
No, it was like second to last or third to last.
We did not win our last game of the season?
No.
Okay. Anyway, well, we have 16 wins, which is pretty darn good. We have a lot to talk about today. Our show is going to only be 5 minutes long because the show's been too long. Let's go through everything, Jay.
Okay, Bulls game.
Do you want to start with the Hawks game? The Pistons game, since that came first?
It did?
It did.
It did. You're right.
The Pistons game was everything. Everything went right in that game. The Knicks played. So here's what's killing me lately. Here is what's killing me, and it killed me in the Bulls game. It killed me in the Hawks game. It's killed me for a while now. I absolutely, not that these 5 guys aren't very good players, but I hate the starting lineup.
Well, the Knicks won the second to last game, the third to last and second to last game of the season.
Is that guy sending you messages to your brain? Like,
No, I looked it up.
Yeah, okay.
So April 11th was our 16th win, and April 13th was our 17th win.
So we're slightly earlier winning. I hopefully we'll get our 17th win before then, or else it'll be a really miserable season.
We would probably set a record for a losing streak.
We could do that. But do you like the starting lineup?
Some days I do, some days I don't. I still, it depends which Calderon shows up, really.
Calderon, I think, to be successful, to be helpful, he has to look for his offense. When he does not look for his offense, he murders us.
See, also the problem is, who else are you going to put in? Grant's not ready yet.
Oh, here's my thing with this offense. This I think you start, and I think this happened in the Bulls game. The first time we played the Bulls, we started off, we were down like 12-2 to start the game until we made a change in the lineup because the starting lineup did not play well against the Knicks, against the Bulls. And the second time we played the Bulls, Derek Fisher learned absolutely nothing from the first time and put the exact same starting unit, and the starting unit was down like 15-0 to start the game. It was awful. And I think the problem is you have all those guys are very good, but you have a very slow bunch that moves the ball very methodically. They're all streaky shooters, and if guys are off, the game starts off miserably.
Right.
They don't create easy baskets. Everyone goes for long twos. We don't run any offensive sets until the defense goes, I'm ready. Okay, you guys definitely ready? Okay, we're ready. And then we start playing offense. It's just like a brutal, like Aflalo was fantastic against the Hawks, but sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off. Calderon, if he's not looking for his offense, which he never does to start games, pushes the ball very slowly, doesn't set anyone up to score. Lopez, we give it to him down low. Hopefully he'll hit a hook shot. Porzingis is too inexperienced. Like sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. Same with Melo. I don't think this is a good starting lineup. The spacing is terrible.
What would you do?
So I would say, guys, it doesn't matter who the hell starts, just to get everyone out of their head of like, oh, you're being demoted. Mm-hmm. But I might try. So I would either say Lopez or Porzingis should play. We shouldn't play them both together a lot. I kind of like what they did in the Hawks game, putting Porzingis out there with a second unit. I thought that was a really good idea. I might switch, we might put switch Lance Thomas and Porzingis, and switch maybe put a Galloway out there instead of a Aflalo. And then the second unit comes out there with Aflalo and Porzingis. It's a much better unit.
So you'd have Melo at the 4 and Stupid Hair at the 3?
No, I Lance Thomas.
Lance Thomas?
Yeah. I mean, you could choose. I don't mind actually having a Stupid Hair out there either, but I would put Stupid Hair with the second unit right now.
Okay.
I'd play around with it a little bit. I don't mind them playing around with it. I don't know why. I think last year Derek Fisher used 82 lineups for 82 different games, the starting lineup. He changed it all the time. This year, he's just like stuck with the starting lineup and cannot. It's like it's written in stone, passed down to Moses on Mount Sinai.
I've evolved as a coach. I know how to change lineups.
I know changing lineups. Too many lineups last year. This year, we'll use one, and no matter what happens on the court, we will not change it.
That was literally the only problem last year.
I mean, you not see an issue? I feel like most games, this unit starts out poorly. And I looked up on prior to today's game on basketball on NBA.com. They had a list of the Knicks lineups. This unit is negative for the year. They're like minus. They're like -1 for the year. Mm-hmm. Your starting lineup should be your best lineup. That should be a lineup that usually has a positive.
Right.
You shouldn't have a negative plus lineup for your starting unit.
Agreed.
I mean, that means your starting unit is not working. And the Knicks are 16 and 19. We can play around with lineups. It's not like you're the Spurs. You're like, well, I got to start Duncan. I got to start Tony Parker. I mean, Porzingis is a rookie. He's been a little cold lately. You can maybe have him with the second unit. It might work well, which it worked today with the Hawks.
His only good shooting game was when he played less than 20 minutes.
Well, part of the thing I think also is that with this unit, the ball there's a lot. Basically, there's a lot of isolations. The ball doesn't really move around. There's not a lot of spacing. So Porzingis only gets the ball when he's far from the basket and has to create his own shot, which I think it's tough to ask him to create his own shot. He's 7'3". Let's try to get him the ball in transition a bit, or do a little more pick and roll with him. I don't know. The unit kills me when Fisher spends way too much time playing these 5 guys in the court together, and I feel like every time he does it, they go down and they put in Lance Thomas. Suddenly the spacing gets better, and suddenly they go on a run. And Fisher's like, "Great, we're going to coming back. We tied the Bulls. Let me put the starting unit back in and just screw everything up."
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely all 5 guys in the starting lineup are very, very streaky, and that's a huge problem too.
They're streaky. They only go for they don't go for high percentage shots. So they're all shooting long twos. And they don't get. There's not a lot of if there's more spacing, you might get more shots at the you might get more, but more easy shots, higher percentage shots, which would like kind of offset the streaky shooting.
We need a lockdown 3-point shooter, and we need to probably just stop with the triangle stuff.
Yeah, I don't see how the triangle. There was a highlight from today's Hawks game where Lopez got the ball at the top of the key, and he was trying to pass the ball because that's the only thing he can do up there, and he turned the ball over because the Hawks were waiting for the pass.
The Hawks are really, really good at filling up the passing lanes and getting steals.
Also, when you give the ball to your center at the top of the key, and the only thing he can do is pass, you're just creating a problem for yourself for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Porzingis, he could technically drive to the basket, though he doesn't when he gets the ball there. Anyway, that's just driving me crazy. And I guess all these things are very fixable, but I do think like mixing in Lance Thomas and like Langston Galloway with the starting unit might get better results. I also think stupid hair. If you can get him the ball while he's moving, while he's cutting, good things will happen.
Yeah, he's been looking a lot better the last week or two. Okay,
so let's talk about the
maybe he's
Detroit.
just mad about getting robbed.
Yeah,
he's taking it out on the basketball court.
Who's angrier, him for getting robbed or Cleanthony Early for getting shot?
That is probably one of the most messed up stories. What's more messed up, Cleanthony Early getting shot or the terrible, terrible comments under every single article on the internet?
I haven't read the comment. What are the comments like?
They're disgusting. They're all like, they're either like, that's what you get for like going out late, or surprise, NBA player at a strip club, or basically everyone's blaming him. And it's like, he was a mile away from the club with his girlfriend in an Uber. Like, he did nothing wrong.
Listen, Jay, let me take the counter side of this. You can argue that. I will say, if you're going to go to a strip club, you should expect to get shot. That's what happens when you go to a strip club. I think everyone that goes to strip clubs gets shot. We're in America. Shooting people at strip clubs is part of the Constitution.
He totally could have avoided having 3 cars box the Uber in, because that's normal too.
Listen, if you're an NBA player, you should take an Uber helicopter. They don't box helicopters in. That's such a messed up story. Luckily he got shot. I mean, not luckily, but he got shot in the knee. But luckily that he's okay. They say he'll actually be able to play basketball again.
Yeah, somehow it went straight through the leg instead of like just going into the leg and shattering everything. So it was a clean wound. So it looks like it's not as serious as originally thought, which is great. It sounds to me though like this was vindictive. I mean, you don't rob somebody of everything and then shoot them in the knee afterwards. Like that.
You don't have 3 cars boxing in an Uber. There's more of this story. We don't know the story. Whatever it is, get healthy, Cleanthony Early. We're excited to have you back so Derek Fisher can't play you. Hopefully he comes back, and hopefully Derek Fisher feels bad for him. He's like, oh, you got shot. I'll give you some run. On the other hand, so let's talk about the Detroit game.
Okay.
So this is the game where Stupid Hair McKee. Well, the two very impressive performances. First, Lopez looked like a monster in this game.
Yeah, he was. I don't know. Sometimes he's got the hook shot. He's got some post moves, and then other times he looks like he's 40 years old. I don't know what's up with this guy.
Do you know what he had for dinner? For this game?
What?
He had Andre Drummond for dinner.
Yeah.
Drummond just had his worst game he's had the entire season. Against Lopez, just destroyed Drummond. It was a beautiful. Drummond shot like 5 for 15. Lopez had 6 block shots. Lopez just was a beast on the court. He was the guy. You watch him in that game and you're going, why were we complaining about Lopez and why can't he do this every night? He looked awesome out there.
And you were expecting the opposite because Drummond's been averaging, 14 or 16 rebounds a game?
I think going into the game, everyone predicted Drummond would have the first 40 for 40 night in a while in the NBA.
Yeah, Drummond is averaging over 16 rebounds a game for the season, and Lopez held him to under 10.
He's been a beast, and Lopez was like, Lopez, I guess, was extra inspired, and he just took him like Drummond could not get up an easy shot against Lopez. It was fantastic. That was amazing. And then the fourth quarter, was Stupid Hair McGee time. Stupid Hair McGee could not be stopped in the fourth quarter. They gave him the ball, he would dunk. They gave him the ball, he would dunk. They gave him the ball, he would be fouled. They gave him the ball, he'd be fouled. He had some ridiculous plays. You watch the fourth quarter, watching Stupid Hair McGee, and you're like, why don't we use this guy more?
Oh, Quinn too.
Oh, Quinn played pretty well also. Yeah, he hit some shots. It was I guess there was a lot of reasons to have hope. The Knicks always just stab you in the back. Like anytime you get hope, you're like, they take you out from the knees. They shoot you in the knee. That's what the Knicks do. They box you in your Uber. They shoot you in the knee. That's what the Knicks do to your hope. But it was Detroit game was probably the best game I saw all season.
Brandon Jennings came back too. A lot of people are saying the Knicks should trade for Brandon Jennings.
Are you going to be one of those people that said, well, his first game back after being out for a long, long time, he didn't look amazing, so the Knicks should just say bye-bye. Say forget it.
No, not at all.
A lot of people were like, oh, he didn't look that good in his first game back. Let's forget about him.
I mean, I like that he penetrates and he passes, but he's a really bad shooter, and the Knicks have so many bad shooters in the backcourt, so that kind of makes me a little wary.
You know what Tuesday is?
Taco Tuesday?
Taco Tuesday. It's 10-day contract day. The Knicks can start NBA teams can start handing out 10-day contracts. The Knicks better freaking start handing out some 10-day contracts to try out some guards.
Well, it sounds like Tuesday is Jimmer Fredette Day.
Could be Jimmer Fredette Day. Could be Tony Roten Day. Could be some other dude in the D-League game day.
The Knicks do not have exclusive rights to Jimmer, so if they don't act first thing on Tuesday, somebody else could take him.
I was reading some stuff about Fredette, and they said the reason that he just has not made in the NBA, his offense has been okay, is that his defense is atrocious.
Yeah, I figured that.
They say basically when he would play, I didn't watch him that much, that other teams they'd say, oh, he's on the court, let's run everything at him because he couldn't stop anything. So do we need another Calderon out there?
Well, if it's a Calderon that can shoot.
Calderon can shoot. Calderon's a hell of a shooter. I wish other players in this team could shoot as well as Calderon. You don't think he's a good shooter?
He's a good shooter. He just needs so much. He needs to be wide open. He needs so much time. He has like a really slow release.
Yeah.
So I feel like Jimmer could get a shot off quicker. But you're right. I mean, really bad defenders are not really what we're looking for.
Did you see in the another guy they were talking about maybe bringing back Torrey? Well, this is not what they were talking about. Just Knicks rumors. Torrey Murray, who's not as you can get him for a 10-day contract as opposed to like trying to trade for him. He showed some potential last year.
We were very excited about Torrey Murray last year.
He could play defense.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want them to give out 10-day contracts and try guys out because this is a good time to start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see in the Chicago game that Calderon in that game drove to the basket twice?
Yeah, that's a record. Season high.
He never drives. He looked pretty good. Like Chicago was so surprised when he did it. He just scored both times. I feel like if you could look for his, I just feel like he needs to be more. He doesn't get any assists anyway, so he might as well just be more selfish, and things will work out better. Calderon should just say, "I'm a shooting guard now."
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's not like he's lighting it up in the assist department anyway.
He doesn't get assists anymore anyway. So just go for your shot. He's a pretty good shooter. He can hit some threes. I think he's pretty worthless if he's not hitting shots.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other comments about the Detroit game besides comments we've already made? Porzingis also was pretty limited in minutes, but that was probably because stupid hair went off.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't really have anything else to add on that.
Are you worried about Porzingis?
No.
Yeah, I feel like he's figuring out his game.
This is a guy everyone thought was a 3-year project, and he's doing decent in his first year. So, if he stays, okay the rest of the year, that's still way ahead of what people thought.
He may not win Rookie of the Year, but there's a lot. He's building on a lot, right? He's amazed us all, every game. So, yeah. It's a Chicago game. Here we started out down 11-0 and really never
Well, I mean, it was a 4-point game going into the fourth quarter.
We came back, actually took the lead in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And then New York didn't realize there were 4 quarters. I think that's pretty much what happened. I mean, the fourth quarter, you know, that the 8 points the Knicks scored the fourth quarter is the lowest the Knicks have ever scored in a quarter.
Ever.
Great. I think the problem here, though, is we start with that terrible starting lineup, which has not played well with. It didn't work the first time we played Chicago with the starting lineup. And the second time we played Chicago, it didn't work. So I assume the next time we play Chicago, we'll go with the exact same lineup.
I don't get why Kylo Quinn goes 6 for 8 in 11 minutes against Detroit, and then the next game he still only gets 12 minutes, but Seraphin plays 12 minutes.
Stupid Hair got 18 points in the fourth quarter, and we barely featured him. Like, Stupid Hair played some minutes, but like when he was playing, no one was even passing him the ball.
These lineups are very strange.
Quinn looked great, and then Stupid Hair looked really well. And you know who got minutes? Seraphin, for no apparent reason. As if like there's an expiration on Seraphin. Like we have to give him back if we don't play him every couple games.
It's like Fox with the Fantastic Four movie rights.
Yeah, exactly. If I understood what Jay was saying. I do, actually. I know you told me that. Sasha made an appearance this game also, which wasn't the official reason for losing, but we can call it the official reason for losing.
Yeah.
So this is the game also that Mirotic Mirotic up to this point in the season couldn't shoot, and he looked like Stephen Curry out there. At one point, he shot the ball from 40 feet away and just nailed it.
Yeah, that was about the time where they should have just turned the lights off and told everybody to go home.
I think when he hit the 40-foot three-pointer, nothing but net, they should have just done a mic drop and just called it a game.
Yeah.
Bulls couldn't. I liked you had the tweet of the Knicks New Year's resolution apparently was not to cover the three-point shot, right?
Yeah, that was after, I think, the 5th in a row.
Yeah. I mean, do you know how many more shots, three-pointers the Bulls made than the Knicks?
No, how many?
Only 4 more.
It seems like way more than that.
It seemed like 30, but
we had
I don't understand how it was even that close.
We had a Bobby Portis Nick effect.
Yeah, Portis doesn't look that bad, actually. They say he's now that he's looked so good that Noah's minutes are going to be limited. I was kind of excited Noah wasn't playing because Noah torched us last time they played, but I guess it didn't really matter.
If somebody told you that we're going to play the Bulls and Noah and Rose are out, you'd probably be excited.
And truthfully, you're excited if you're a Bulls fan. Rose and Noah have been terrible this year.
Oh, he looks done.
Rose
looks almost done.
Do you want to? Should we ask him?
Sure. Noah's averaging 4.5 points a game.
Yeah. I'm playing a lot better than Noah. So yeah. You should. Yeah. I was told you want to talk to me about my performance lately. I have a new strategy.
Okay, what's that?
Okay, so I have a new strategy. So getting injured, apparently, it hurts a lot. Mm-hmm. So I've decided I don't want to be hurt because I want to be able to do stuff like get my mail. So I want to be healthy some of the time, but play really poorly. And then I want the Bulls to eventually cut me, but still pay me my $25 million. I deserve that. And then I'm going to have the Spurs pick me up. Not the Spurs, sorry. My new Golden State. I want Golden State to pick me up because Golden State is so good, they don't really need me to play.
So you just want to collect rings and not play?
I want to be on a team that's so good they don't need my services but are willing to pay me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why my shooting's been a little off this year because it's part of my plan.
That's a brilliant, brilliant plan. I think you're going to have to shoot a little worse to get cut. You're going to have to work on that.
Yeah, I'm trying, but it's kind of hard. Sometimes the ball just accidentally goes in.
Yeah.
I mean, when usually I play the Knicks, I try not to get laughs, but no one even gets in my way.
That is true. That is a problem.
It is a problem.
You're doing good on your three-point shot, though. You're down to 24.5%. So
yeah. So when I play the 76ers, sometimes I get alley-oops from the Sixers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just throw it. Yeah. So it's going well. Hopefully, I'll get $25 million next year. I need a max deal to play. So I've heard also Golden State's allowed to pay whatever they want because the NBA doesn't restrict them anymore. I'd go to Cleveland, but Cleveland might actually need me. So, anyhow, if you have a better, I would also the Spurs. I heard the Spurs make you practice. I don't want to do that.
Spurs do make you practice, yeah.
Yeah, the one good thing is that our new coach, he like our old coach used to like really, really work you really hard. This coach doesn't even do anything. He barely pushes you. That guy Jimmy's been playing. Butler's been complaining about that. I'm like, Butler, this is the good life. Anyway, Jay, any other questions, Jay?
No, thank you, Derek.
Okay, cool. Speaking of the Bulls, why can't we get Aaron Brooks? I'd take Aaron Brooks.
I guess. Isn't he another one that's bad on defense?
He's okay on defense. He's better than anything we have.
Yeah. That shouldn't be our line for getting people.
That really is our line for getting. You always want to improve. If he's better than anything we have.
Yeah.
Okay. Bulls game anyway. The fourth quarter was an absolute nightmare, and the Knicks gave up really fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Hawk game today.
Hawk game. So this was the Aaron Aflalo game.
Aaron Aflalo could not miss.
So the Knicks are 12-2 when Aflalo scores over 20 points a game.
Which makes sense.
And they are, I believe, 4-13.
And one of those two losses when they of the losses when he had over 20 points was when Melo wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Melo's playing and Aflalo scores 20, we're 14-1.
Right.
So it's even better.
And we're 4-13 when Aflalo does not score 20.
Yes. So it's important for Aflalo to score. Everyone was shooting. The Knicks shot 50% for the game. Everyone was hitting their shots. I didn't like the starting lineup again, but the Knicks did Porzingis with the second unit. I thought that would look really good. I don't know. Knicks look great here. Grant had his best game.
Yeah, so Grant looked really good, which means Thomas has to have a bad game because the Knicks cannot be firing on all cylinders ever.
Also, Grant had a good game, which means he'll be benched for the next two games in favor of Sasha.
So, yeah, this was one of the games. The Knicks had control the entire time, and there was never a point where they gave up a huge lead. It was just a nice all-around game, which we don't see very often.
You were kind of expecting the Knicks to blow the game because the Hawks are a better team.
Right. Like, when the Knicks are up by a dozen at the beginning of the fourth, you're like, well, I saw the Bulls game 2 days ago. Atlanta's just going to hit a bunch of threes and then win.
Yeah, you were doing the math on, let's see, the Knicks are going to score 8 points this quarter. We have to really play good defense.
Yeah.
This also was the what was going through your head when Porzingis was about to make that dunk and missed it?
Oh my God, that would have been like the highlight of the year if he hit that.
He drove through the lane, was going for a dunk. He hit it off the I guess the side of the rim or the back of the rim, but it looked like the house was about to go crazy.
Yeah.
I wish Porzingis would do more of that stuff though.
Yeah, there was a couple times today where he drove and looked good.
I get the sense that you see Porzingis like he can really move. If you get in the ball while he's cutting, great things are going to happen. He's a big man that we really need to utilize his athleticism, and we don't yet.
Yeah, is there an offense that's not the triangle that whatever the hell the Spurs or the Hawks are running, that's the kind of offense we need to get going.
We should try what the other 29 teams in the NBA are doing. This mix of pick and roll seems to work really well.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. In the Detroit game, the Knicks did a fair amount of pick and roll, and it looked really great. In the Bulls game, the Knicks were like, no, we can't do that again.
That's just what they'd be expecting.
They did. No, we don't. We need to win with a more high-class offense. We're not savages. They look great. So I should have a lot more hope. It was always the Knicks have a bunch of games coming up against good teams, and good teams scare me because we're the Knicks.
The next four is Atlanta again, then Miami, Spurs, and Bucks.
So there was a couple quotes that came out from Charlie Rosen, and I wanted to discuss. I thought we can overanalyze these quotes. They came out at the beginning of the week, and these basically Charlie Rosen. Actually, they're not from Charlie Rosen. He reported anonymous quotes from the Knicks. Knicks sources. I don't know who the sources are, but apparently, if you've noticed over the years, especially on the Phil Jackson era, there are just anonymous quotes, and these are your, I don't know what. You've noticed that these anonymous quotes come out, and we have to like figure out what they mean.
From Phil?
They're not. They don't say they're from Phil. They just said they're just anonymous sources from in the Knicks organization, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'll just read you the quotes and we can overanalyze. According to a source, there's a growing sense among some players in the locker room Fisher is viewed as more of a preacher and motivator than an expert and in-game tactician or X's and O's master. According to the source, Fisher's assistant coaches, including Brian Keefe, Kurt Rambis, and Jim Clemens, are more versed in the strategic concepts. The source said Carmelo Anthony has come to Fisher recently to lobby for rookie Kristaps Porzingis to be more involved in the offense in late in games and to take the burden off him. Indeed, Porzingis has had plays run for him down the stretch in Boston on Sunday.
Running plays for more than one player.
So if you haven't noticed, it seems like Fisher has no clue how to draw up a play, and this quote confirms that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You want to overanalyze this?
I mean, we all know Fisher is not a good coach.
I mean, does not being an X and O guy mean you're a bad coach?
Probably. Oh, what else is he doing? Is he just a motivator?
That's what they said. He's a preacher motivator.
So put some pom-poms on him and sit him down and get a real coach.
Mello, you can do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Go, Mello.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not running plays and he sucks at his rotations,
shouldn't when they have when it's 6 seconds on the clock and they're drawing up their last play, shouldn't Fisher be standing there over when watching Brian Keefe or Rambis draw up these plays then?
Right.
Shouldn't he be like, hey, Clemens, whatever the hell your name is, give me a play. The guys are coming over. I called the timeout.
I don't get why we even hired a coach with no experience.
Because that was the trend in the NBA. Let's hire guys without experience and see how it works.
Yeah, but
there's no other job. There are very few jobs in America where you would want someone without experience. If it was not if it's not like a job where experience is not needed. It's not like
an entry level position.
Yeah, entry level position. That's what I'm looking for. And I guess head coach of an NBA basketball team, one of only 30 positions that exist in the United States, should not be an entry level position.
Apparently it is. Apparently that's an entry level position.
I understand if you have a related experience, like I was a player, but I've never coached a game in my life. And I know it worked out for Steve Kerr. But at least he had two jobs. Kerr was like, I was a player and I was a commentator.
Wasn't he also a front office guy?
Yeah, he was a front office guy. He had a bunch of positions. It wasn't like, hey, you played point guard in the league for a long time and got lucky to play on a bunch of really good teams. Let's be the coach. I don't I mean, Jason Kidd, he had some problems, but he seems to have found his feet pretty fast. I don't know if found your feet is even a correct phrase.
It just seems like it was an unnecessary risk.
Right. It seems like they should have. Usually, most coaches do better in their second stints. It's weird that we didn't get a coach. So anyway, it seems to kind of confirm that we probably need a coach that has a little more experience. But anyway, the next quote we should overanalyze.
Okay.
This is from, again, if you run the triangle, you have to make total commitment to the triangle, said Rosen, who writes a technical basketball column for today's fastbreak.com. It's not like a part-time thing that you can use some of it. If that's your offense, you got to commit to it. It doesn't look like they're really committed to it. They're running it in a half-assed way. It's not creating the kind of shots it normally would create. Do you think the Knicks are kind of not buying fully into the triangle?
If they are, then why would you half run it? If it doesn't work when you're half running it and they're half running it, why? That's Fisher's job.
Well, I'm a motivator. I can't deal with getting these guys to actually run the triangle.
So he's not good at motivating either then.
Right. I'm not good at motivating you to run the X and O's, and I don't really know what to do with the X and O's. I don't know what they even stand for, really. I saw one X and O thing, and I was looking for the pot of gold. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like part of the problem is with the triangle. It's never really worked if Michael Jordan or Kobe and Shaq weren't on the team.
That is also true. Yeah.
With Michael Jordan, you had a guy who was not a point guard who could kind of run your offense. Plus, you had Scottie Pippen, pretty good players to run it with. And with the Lakers, the first time you had Shaq and Kobe, and then you had guys that could really facilitate the offense that weren't point guards. Plus, you had a point guard on the floor. The whole talk of hey, you don't need a real point guard to do this. Well, you either need a real point guard or you need one of the greatest players ever to be on the court with you.
That is a good point. Yes.
And another quote. I don't know if he's harping on them or they are resistant, Rosen said. It's 32 games. They should be running it better unless Fisher isn't fully committed to it. I see the weak side picks are awful. They are loose. Nobody's headhunting or looking for somebody. It's very, very loose. I guess those quotes are actually from Rosen, not from the anonymous source. But I think they're fair. The Knicks don't seem to. At what point do players fully grasp the triangle? When is it supposed to actually start working?
Well, according to Rodman, didn't he say 5 hours?
Okay, so the Knicks, how many hours do you think they spent on it so far?
I'm gonna put the over/under on over 5 hours.
Damn it. I would say I also noticed that they've commented Porzingis in particular is not very good at setting screens. And so Porzingis will stand somewhere. If the player just doesn't run near him, he's like, damn it. And the Knicks don't set the best screens. That's something that maybe he had a coach that was going to help them work on it. He would do that.
Yeah, when you notice something like that and then show him how to make better screens.
I feel like just setting good screens and setting very hard cuts are very important beyond the passing. Moving without the ball, they say, is very important.
I also feel like those are very coachable things.
Well,
it's not like if you can't dunk, you can't just coach a guy into being able to dunk. But I'm pretty sure you could teach a guy to set a good screen.
Right, just get in front of the guy where he's going, and but I guess what's the point of even setting screens if they're not even doing pick and rolls? But anyway, so we had a really good week, so we're 2-1 this week, so we should just say yay.
All right, let's go. Let's move on to Twitter.
Okay.
At NY Knicks Podcast. Strive writes.
Wait, do we have emails?
We do.
Okay. I just want to make sure you didn't forget, on Brink where you forgot the emails, and then the show ended, and you go, oh, what about the emails?
Strive writes, not having a reliable second or third scoring option, lack of fast break, awful point guard defense. These are just general topics. We touched on awful point guard defense, lack of fast break. We talked about having a slow team, reliable second or third scoring option that's supposed to be a Flalo. And as we said, we're 12-2 when he scores over 20.
Do you think we could do a quick New Year's resolution for each player?
Sure.
Maybe we do that real fast.
Okay.
A Flalo. My New Year's resolution is to play every game is against the Hawks.
Yeah. Also to slip a play for himself in Fisher's playbook. So he gets more involved in offense.
Abinson. I'm going to do alphabetical order. New Year's resolution to keep getting NBA checks.
to keep his awesome haircut going.
Melo to shoot efficiently at least once a week. And keep playing D.
To keep distributing the ball because it seems like the Knicks win a lot when he gets over 5 assists.
Yeah. When he gets... It's a beautiful... That is the... I don't care how he shoots. When he gets 5 or 6 assists, we know the game has gone well.
Yeah.
Jose Calderon to pretend he plays offense and look for his offense and be more selfish.
To try and stay in front of somebody. Anybody.
Cleanthony Early to protect the other knee.
Yeah, to heal up quickly.
To no longer get shot. And to actually, Cleanthony Early to actually get minutes at some point this season. That would be a really awesome thing, actually. I'm not joking. Langston Galloway.
To make his shot more consistent.
Yeah, to shoot the three the way he was to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
To crack the starting rotation. How's that?
Sure. Grant to stay motivated, even though Fisher likes to play him 20 minutes one night and 2 the next.
To play well enough that we will cut Sasha.
There you go.
Robin Lopez.
Robin Lopez to there's a bunch of things to be more aggressive on offense.
To eat every team's Drummond.
There you go.
Kyle O'Quinn.
To keep getting to keep his rebound rate where it is right now, because he gets a lot of rebounds per 36 minutes.
Also to keep hitting those mid-range shots, because they are a valuable part of his game. Porzingis.
This one's easy to get his shooting percentage up.
Yeah. Also, I think to be more aggressive on offense and defense. Just add more aggressiveness to his game without getting into foul trouble. Seraphin
to offer his minutes to O'Quinn.
Since you have to play every 4 games, to look good in those minutes you play. But not good enough that we have to keep playing you. Also, if Seraphin gets the ball and he's like 15 feet from the basket, think about passing before thinking about shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Thomas
to make Jay apologize yet again.
I was going to say to make Jay apologize every show, but to keep up what you're doing, Lance, because you are the most. Would you say, if you had to say the most improved player in the Knicks it's hands down Lance Thomas, right?
Yeah, except for tonight, but yes.
Except for tonight, yes. But he plays defense even when he doesn't necessarily hit shots. But Sasha
to start looking for jobs in the European League.
Yes. To see the world, Lance. I mean, Sasha, we want you to see the world, not just the U.S. Come on, go free, fly free, you cage bird.
Check off some things on your bucket list.
Stupid hair McGee.
To be more consistent on defense.
Yeah, that would be but I'm going to say
that's why he doesn't play a lot of minutes.
Yeah, his defense isn't that great. Yeah, I also want to see him. Well, he can't be more aggressive. I wish he would just play more games like he played like in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess play better, D. I agree. And also, don't change your hair. Okay.
We're done?
Yeah. I'm gonna after the next question, I'm gonna have another 20-minute bit.
See, strive again. The awful lineup. These are more topics. The awful lineups, stagnant offenses, Aflalo and KP's lack of scoring, starting Lance at the 2 guard.
What do you think about starting Lance at the 2 guard? Not starting him, but like sometimes they go out there and they have Lance at the 2 guard. Like in the Bulls game, at one point during the Bulls game, they had Lance, it was Calderon, Lance, Melo, O'Quinn, and Seraphin in there.
Ooh.
I forget, it may not have been Calderon. I forget who the point guard was, but it was like going ultra big, and what was the rationale for putting O'Quinn and Seraphin in together?
Yeah, that's why I said ooh.
Like there was no you saw that, and it was almost like Fisher had said something, they misheard him, they both went out there together, and he was like, "Oh God, I gotta get this guys back off the court." Shoot, I can't believe I actually did that.
Yeah.
Like it's the press conference should have started off with, I know we had a historically bad fourth quarter, but my first thing I want to talk about is O'Quinn and Seraphin playing together. I know I almost broke the space-time continuum there.
I would rather Lance at the 3 and Melo at the 4.
Yeah. I guess the idea really is that our guards suck. So sometimes Lance can cover other guards, but I don't know. I think the benefit of having him at the 3 is that since he can cover multiple positions, when they do switch, it's not a bad switch.
Right.
Yeah, I don't love him at the 2.
He also writes, playing more Williams with Melo together, sign a sharpshooter and another point guard.
Yeah, I actually don't think they're bad out together. Bad out there. I feel like sometimes Melo helps create, like, because he draws the defense. He like leaves them stupid hair a little more open.
Right, and stupid hair is good at taking advantage of that.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, like, he's the most aggressive guy at driving. He does what we wish Jared would do all the years he was here. All we asked Jared to do was just keep driving to the basket, and that's what all the stupid hair does.
Yeah. Keith writes, what's the fascination with Roten and Jennings when both of them can't shoot?
Have you seen what we got?
True.
We just need to try someone else. We need guys that can push the ball. And the idea with, I haven't really watched Roten's game as much, but Jennings can really push the ball. That's the idea.
Yeah. Gucci writes, Tim Hardaway coming out of the D League to play against the Knicks today. Isn't that hilarious?
Did he play today?
No, he did not.
Okay.
They did come out of the D League, though.
Yeah.
Everyone comes back against the Knicks. Jennings came back against the Knicks. Hardaway's back. William writes, this is the perfect statement for the whole year. Gucci writes, why does Stupid Hair McGee always grab his crotch after he comes down hanging from a dunk?
You know what? I've never actually been able to dunk myself, so maybe part of dunking involves a need to grab your crotch. I wouldn't know.
Would you take a Flalo over Houston and JR? I guess he's just counting our better shooting guards over the years.
Yeah, Aflalo, I mean, maybe we got a little too excited about him, but I take Houston over Aflalo.
Yeah.
I would take Aflalo over JR. JR just drove me crazy.
Corver made it clear tonight whenever someone is...
Wait, I'm just curious, for you, what would your order there be?
Houston to follow JR. I mean, that Houston contract ended up being terrible, but his first few years, his high was better than Aflalo's high.
Yeah, I agree. He definitely could win games for us.
Corver made it clear tonight that whenever someone's in a slump, just play the Knicks and they'll be fine.
Yeah. Yes. That's why I predicted, I think Corver was supposed to... I predicted Corver would break the NBA record for three-pointers made tonight, but it didn't happen.
I was actually about to drop him for my fantasy team and then realized the Knicks had a back-to-back against Atlanta and did not drop him.
Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen in the next game. If they could beat Atlanta twice in a row, I'd feel really a lot better about this team.
Yep.
It's really a shame the East decided to get good when the Knicks got better.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating because this would have been a playoff team last year.
Yeah, this team also would win more games last year.
Mm-hmm. CW writes, what do you think about Early getting shot?
I'm against players getting shot.
Especially
They're taking a stance.
Especially Knicks players.
Yes. I would like to say if someone's going to get shot, I hope it's not a Knicks player. I'd prefer it be a member of ISIS. But that's just how I feel. And if I know it's controversial, so please send out your letters. By the way, if you want to keep hearing the show, please give us feedback.
Yeah, we'd like feedback. Episodes you liked, episodes you didn't, bits you like, bits you don't. We have no clue. We'd like
anything. Just even say good show, bad show. I hate Mark. I hate Jay. I love Mark. I want to marry Jay. Anything. More feedback means more shows.
There you go.
Pay us with your love.
Lorenzo writes, I have a scenario for Jay. It's the 2020 NBA Finals, Knicks versus Wolves, Game 7 MSG. Due to his successful podcast, Jay is now very rich and has bought courtside seats for himself. He's sitting in the seat before the game. To the left is the scorer's table. The seat to the right is currently vacant. The lights go down, the national anthem, and singing it is Drake. Jay plugs his ears and gets through that. The lights are still off for the starting intros. When the lights cut back on, sitting in that vacant seat is Drake. He will be your courtside buddy for the game. What do you do?
What do you do, Jay?
I whip out a lint roller and I start rolling his pants because I know he's into that.
Well, that scenario, you're rich and famous. What if it's you just a friend of yours happens to have the tickets from work and they give it to you and you're sitting next to Drake. Do you change your behavior?
I would probably be a little grumpy.
Why? You got courtside seats next to Drake.
Also, shouldn't he be rooting for the Raptors? What is he doing? What is he doesn't even belong at that game.
Okay, what if it's the Knicks versus Raptors?
Probably wouldn't be a finals game.
What if just shut up.
I hate Drake. That's the end of the story. Peter writes, where are they now? Bino Udrih, Miami Heat, averaging 8 points a game.
We don't need guys that can play point guard.
He wrote back. Got that wrong. Bino's only averaging 5 points a game and 2 assists.
Screw him.
Lorenzo writes, so Cleanthony Early took a bullet to the knee. It definitely wasn't a Knicks player that did that, as he would have taken the shot from 15 to 20 feet away. Thank you, Lorenzo.
And Lorenzo wins for best comment of the game by far.
Let's see. Jimmy writes, thoughts on the proposed 3-team trade with Houston, New Orleans. New Orleans to send Dwight Howard to New York. We got Dwight and Luke Babbitt. Let me just pull up this trade scenario here. I already don't like it because we get Dwight.
Yeah, I already don't like it. I don't see the point of this.
Houston would get Ashik and Ryan Anderson from the Pelicans, and they would also get Derek Williams and Jose Calderon. Knicks would get Dwight Howard and Luke Babbitt, and the Pelicans would get KJ McDaniels, Robin Lopez, Kyle O'Quinn, and Terrence. We got our entire team for Dwight. No, that is like the worst trade I've ever heard.
No, we traded away. Hang on, we traded away Calderon, O'Quinn, and Lopez for Dwight Howard. Anyone else?
And Williams.
And stupid hair.
So we're giving up 4 guys for Dwight Howard, who's a free agent and can leave.
Yeah, I mean, that part of it sucks. But I guess in fairness, he pretty much, Howard replaces O'Quinn and Lopez.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I don't really love it. I feel like we're not really in win now mode. We got Porzingis. We're trying to build on something, and if you don't have a point guard, we're not going anywhere.
Right.
And trading away Calderon doesn't actually make us better.
No, not when you replace him with nobody.
Yeah, exactly. We replace him with Dwight Howard at the point guard. It's not going to work. Though I don't know anything about Luke Babbitt.
He is one of those Nick Effect guys. He only plays good twice a year.
Yeah. So I'll go with saying no to this trade. This can't be a real rumor.
Let's see. He also writes, we need to start getting Flalo going. He's our X factor. Agreed.
Yeah.
That is it for emails.
Facebook. Greg writes, predictions for the next 5 games. So we got, what games you said? Atlanta. Stat guy. Come on, stat guy.
We have Atlanta, Miami, the Spurs all away, and then Milwaukee and Boston at home.
I'm going to say 5-0. I'd say 3-2. I think we're going to lose to the Hawks, beat Miami, lose to the Spurs, beat the Celtics, and beat the Bucks.
Damn it! I was going to say the exact same thing.
Well, screw you. Greg writes, D-Rose interview. Did that already. Jason writes, I already saw that question also. Jason writes, is Fisher going to make it to the All-Star break as coach? I personally think no, he lost the team already.
I think Fisher's invincible this season.
I think just because it looks so bad for Fisher for Jackson to fire him, he has to do a horrendous job to be fired.
Yeah.
That being said, what are the chances of him being fired in the offseason? Like, what happens to get him fired?
I don't think he's going to get fired. I think this is our coach. It's kind of weird and kind of annoying.
Is there ever a scenario where we're going to like our coach?
I would hope it's sometime in the future we would like our coach.
Sasha writes, Melo to Miami, Winslow, Johnson, Dang, Anderson, and a pick.
Yep.
Who's Johnson?
I don't know.
We talked about this last show. You didn't like it. You didn't like Dang, Winslow, and a pick last show, didn't you?
I don't think the first rounder was thrown in there.
First rounder is going to be in pick like number 24.
Maybe.
Oh, 23. It's a late first round pick. Winslow, it looks pretty good. Dang is expiring. Johnson, we haven't figured out who he is. Is that Ryan Anderson?
No.
Oh.
It's Chris Anderson, who's like pretty much retired.
Oh. I actually thought he was not on the roster anymore.
Yeah, no, that's Birdman. He's still on the roster.
Okay, so basically it's Winslow and a pick for Melo.
Yeah, wait, did you say Johnson? Tyler Johnson.
Okay, who is he? Tell me more. Stat guy.
Tyler Johnson is a rookie who is averaging 9 points a game in 20 minutes.
What round was he?
What do you think? Stats guy here? I don't know.
Okay, let's do the trade. The positive, I guess, you get out of the Melo contract. It depends on how you're gonna. If the Knicks get out of the Melo contract, how do you? Do they go all in for now for Conley? Or I guess you don't go all in for Conley if you're not going all in for if you don't have Melo anymore.
Yeah, you would probably need a younger point guard.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you need to go super young. That would be like full rebuilding mode.
Greg writes, sends a picture from NBA 24/7 from Twitter, I guess. David Robinson got injured. Spurs sucked. Spurs drafted Tim Duncan. Won 2 rings. Carmelo Anthony got injured. Knicks sucked. Knicks drafted Kristaps Porzingis.
Tyler Johnson was undrafted, by the way.
And there's no reason we would have gotten him because we didn't look for talent. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not a terrible trade. I mean, I do like what Winslow has done this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a lot worse, and we're definitely in rebuilding mode completely. It'd be nice to have a draft pick.
Agreed.
Do you think there's any benefit to how much benefit is there for Porzingis' development for having Melo as a mentor?
I mean, I think it's better than the position like Okafor's in, where he's just with a bunch of clowns.
Well, yes, that is the worst position you can be in. Yes, I agree with that. I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's probably helpful for his development.
I would think so too.
Ralph writes, "Stupid hair needs to start or at least play more minutes!" Exclamation point.
Yeah, I mean, he will if he gets his defense up.
Yeah, defense is a big. He does look on offense though. Like if you get him involved in the offense, he looks great.
Yeah.
Frank writes, they apparently for his career, he's a negative for defense.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Sometimes they say like we're just watching. He doesn't really fight over screens. Sometimes he just like loses his man. There was a play against I think the Chicago game where you just saw him running like he was just chasing the ball like a Labrador retriever. And the Bulls were just getting you would see a play where the Bulls got really open. You'd be like, how'd they get so open? Then you watch like Williams like run away from his defender. Like, a lot of Knicks did that, so not just him. But Frank writes, why did we not get Ish Smith? Look up his stats for the Pelicans for the time period Tariq Evans was out. He was playing like a lottery pick, and all Philadelphia gave up was a second rounder. I firmly believe he could have been our version of Isaiah Thomas, Boston's. Instead, he's on Philadelphia. What's it with Phil? First Shved, now Smith. He acts as if we don't need guards. And Frank also, I'll add a little more to the conversation. Frank responds also, and Philly is 2-1 since Smith arrived. Guys, please talk me down. Steven responds, I'm not sure Ish Smith is good. Everything I've heard about him is bad. People keep talking about his broken shot. The reason Philly is doing better with Smith is because they desperately needed a point guard. Frank writes, okay, I crunched some numbers. In games where he has played over 20 minutes, I chose that number because it's more indicative of starter minutes. He's averaged 13.8 points a game, 8.5 assists, 1.3 steals. And and 2.33 to turnovers with a 40% shooting percentage. Those are some impressive numbers. A way better than average point guard on the Knicks. Plus, he passed the eye test. I watched a good 10 Pelican games, and I thought he looked great. He really reminded me of Isaiah Thomas when he was on the Kings, and I thought the Celtics got a steal at the beginning of this year getting him. Frank also responds, these numbers are over 18 games this season, which I think is a pretty good sample size, good enough to spend a second-round pick on. And Ralph responds, who? ?
Maybe he's not that good. In the last 5 years, he's been on 11 different teams.
What? 11 different teams?
Yes, he's been on 2 teams other than 2011, 2 teams, 12, 2 teams, 13, 2 teams, 14, 1 team, 15, 2 teams, and this year 2 teams.
I almost don't believe you, and I have to look this up. By the way, Isaiah Thomas looked really good in Sacramento. That trade, Boston traded almost nothing for him. I couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah. Nick Fury writes, maybe Fisher should try this novel idea called balancing a lineup.
Wow. Yeah, he's not a good shooter. He's clearly not a good shooter.
No, he's a pretty terrible shooter.
Even those 18 games, he's a bad shooter. 40% sucks. But he's got a bunch of assists. I mean, he could be getting better.
In 70 games for Phoenix 2 years ago, he shot 4% from the three-point line.
I think it's 43%, by the way, not 40. You said 4. You said 4. But,
yeah.
Okay, it's 40%, but whatever.
No, ESPN says .043.
Yeah, that's 43%.
That's 4.3.
Oh, 4. Yeah, you're right. 4.3.
He shot 1 for 23.
Yeah, that's awful. We need that kind of shooting from three-point land. That's actually even worse than Sasha. So is this the guy the Knicks should have tried to get? Philly traded 2 second-round draft picks for him.
Not for 2 second-round draft picks.
Philly also has 1 million second-round draft picks.
Right.
Yeah, it's I can see why Phil wouldn't have wasted a lot of time trying to get this guy. He was also unsigned to start the year. The Knicks were going to get him. They should have gotten him before he was signed originally.
Yeah.
I would like to see him get creative about who he gets. There better be a guy signed on Tuesday. If there's not, I will be so mad.
Yeah.
And whoever gets signed, Derek Fisher better give a chance to play. George writes, Cleanthony Early. Then he put a gun sign. Mark, how scary is it that 2 days prior you mentioned the gun laws?
That was on our other podcast, The Brink of Sanity. We were talking about gun laws.
Yes. So every time we mention gun laws, another Knicks player gets shot. I get it, world. I get it. I will not mention these gun laws anymore because I understand you're gonna keep offing Knicks. That is I think that's a coincidence, Jay. What do you think?
I'm gonna say probably coincidence.
You don't think that's the Illuminati?
Possible. We did piss them off.
It'd be really weird if we get an email from the Illuminati saying,
"Told you I'd get you guys back."
By picking a team that you really like and shooting a guy that doesn't play very much. George writes, Knicks interested in Tony Wroten.
Great. A guy who couldn't make the cut on the worst team in the history of the NBA.
Then Philly needed a point guard, cut Wroten, and picked a guy who's been on 10 other teams in the last 5 years. Doesn't say a lot about him. He's pretty young. He's 22. I'm going to look this guy's stats up because might as well. He had a PER in the season of... Jay, what's your PER on the year?
15.
You're an NBA... You would say your PER is 0, right? You haven't actually played a game, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. So Tony's PER, having played... he only played 3 games, but his PER is only 2 points better than you. He has a 2 PER and you have a 0. So.
Okay. I think we can move on right there. The league average is 15, by the way.
What do you say?
The league average is 15.
Yeah, that's true. His whatchamacallit, he's played a couple. I don't know. It seems like he's so. Just looking at his stats, he's not a very good shooter. But he scored a bunch. He scored 16 points a game last year for Philly.
Right.
Which is weird that he scored 16 points a game and didn't make the club this year.
Well, I mean, you could just jack up shots with a low percentage and score a lot of points.
But that's exactly what he did. He shot 40% from the field, so he jacked up a lot of shots.
All right, moving on.
I don't know. I mean, he's 22. Maybe there's something. I mean, Jimmy Butler shot 40% when he came into the league.
Yeah, he's probably going to be Jimmy Butler.
George writes, rumors Jeannie Buss wants Phil Jackson back in the Lakers organization. Do you think there's a possibility? Thoughts?
Why? No.
Closer for their kinky sex game they're playing?
I don't think there's any chance.
Okay, let's say tomorrow, Phil Jackson announces he's going back to the Lakers. Been great here, guys, but blah, blah, blah. I'm going back to the Lakers. Zen, zen, zen. How angry are you from 1 to 10?
Do I get to know who they're replacing him with? Because, he had a pretty good run, so I'm not that mad unless they're like, welcome to your new GM, Isaiah Thomas.
Let's just say the Knicks will hire someone else. You don't know who they're going to hire. The Knicks will do a search and they'll hire someone.
I'm disappointed. I'm not heartbroken, but I'm disappointed.
1 to 10.
6.
With 1 being...
I'll go with 7.
10 being J.R. Smith is back on the team. Anger.
Yeah, I'll go with 7.
Yeah, I'd say 6. I mean, he drafting Porzingis, he's left his mark in the franchise. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not clear to me what else he does. But I assume he's going to keep building the roster. So, he hasn't done it. I would say this is the team he's assembled. Isn't outside the fact that we don't have guards. It's not a bad team.
Yeah.
So outside of 40% of the positions on the floor are kind of suspect. George writes, sorry, I will try to keep the questions short. Sorry for the interstellar one last episode, Jay. Mike writes, the Knicks are supposed to be interested in trading for Jennings. Thoughts?
I mean, I guess it depends what they give up. If they could get him with no draft picks.
What would be your ideal Jennings trade?
Calderon.
I would say I'd rather still keep Calderon.
I'd say just because Calderon has another year on the books.
That's a good reason.
And Jennings is expiring. So even if Jennings doesn't work out, you could have neither and then start over next year.
Yeah.
Because Calderon next year is not going to be good.
No.
Yeah.
I don't mind having him out there this year, but I mind having him on the team next year. Seraphin for Jennings was my other trade, but yeah. Michael writes, Melo passing equals wins.
Sure does.
I would agree. Greg writes, what should be Melo's New Year's resolution? We already covered that. And George writes, pass more. You can see it already. Totally agree. George writes, Happy New Year, Marc and Jay. May 2016 bring you the best of luck. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much.
Rayner writes, what's the cutoff for Fish getting the boot at the end of the season? I'm thinking he wins under 30 games. He's definitely out. So, yeah, is there a certain number of wins that will actually... I mean, I feel like if they don't win 30 games, he might be out. Be surprised they don't get the 30 wins, but...
Yeah, I guess. I still think I don't think Jackson's
no matter what he does, he could take a shit on the court and Jackson would be it's part of the triangle.
I really don't think so.
So he's so I can't change the coach?
Yeah, I don't think they're changing the coach. I would like them to, but I don't think they're going to.
Thibodeau. Adam writes, so the Knicks just achieved 8 points in the fourth quarter versus the Bulls, setting the record for the worst fourth quarter in franchise history. Now let's say, did you Just on a side note, Jay, did you expect so many great records with Phil as our taking over? Worst record ever, worst fourth quarter ever. So setting the record for the worst fourth quarter in franchise history. Now let's say you would find yourself in the locker room after this game and be granted 30 seconds to tell the team whatever you want without suffering any consequences or physical damage. What would you say to our basketball heroes?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Without any physical damage either. That's good.
like physical damage, as if Jay would be going there and go, okay, I said there's no physical damage here, so I'm going to just start doing my racist profanities. I'm going to murder a cat in front of them and go, you killed this cat.
Let's see. If there's no consequences, I'd probably just ask them all for iTunes reviews for the podcast.
You guys make a lot of money. Could you buy a Knicks shirt?
I'd go into the locker room with my paper bag of leftover Knicks shirts and some of the 480 business cards I have left over.
Oh, Quinn, how hard is this? Just log into your iTunes account. Just forgot the password, get the password, and write a damn review.
Like our Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter.
Mel, just tell everyone to follow us on Twitter. Could you just retweet us? One goddamn retweet will help your brand, I promise.
That is true. One retweet from those guys we just said.
That'd be pretty amazing.
I'd ask them all if they wanted to come on the podcast.
Porzingis, could I be your agent? Enough about that fourth quarter. Could we hang out more? Do you know? So they mentioned during the, I don't know if you were watching the game at this point, the Hawks game, that there's some Knicks Facebook group where all the fans, I don't know, a bunch of the people on the Facebook Knicks group got together and bought a couple suites to the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you guys think you guys want to pool our money and get a suite for the a game, that would be pretty amazing. How many people do you think you need for a suite? Like 20 people?
Probably 20, yeah.
Okay, so if we get like 20 people committed, we'll get a suite to the game, and they'll mention us on the air.
There you go.
Okay. Alex writes.
Oh, I also read today that Porzingis is living with his parents so he can stay away from drinking and trouble.
I love Porzingis.
He's so awesome.
In a related note, J.R. Smith is living with two heroin-addicted hookers in Cleveland to make sure he cannot avoid trouble. Frank writes, how about a man in the street segment? Maybe the man will have some answers of what's wrong with his team.
Next episode, we're running late.
Okay. I'm not even going to look up Walmart LA's number.
Should we try a meetup for the Clippers game on the 22nd?
Blah, 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 blah. What day of the week is that?
It's a Friday. Or the Suns game on the 29th.
Yes, to the 22nd. Or what's better, 22nd or 29th?
Either one for me. I don't start school till February 1st. So. Why don't we post it we'll post it in the Facebook page and on Twitter, asking people what they would prefer and if they can make it.
I'm trying to remember what I'm doing the next days.
Phoenix tickets would be a lot cheaper if we want to actually go to the game.
Okay, the 22nd. Which it's Phoenix on the 22nd and the 29th is who?
Phoenix is the 29th.
And who's the 22nd?
Clippers.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Well, let's ask people if they actually want to go to the game. If not, let's I don't care. Let's do Phoenix. The Knicks have a better shot at being Phoenix.
And the tickets are on average $30 less. So.
Okay. I'm just be happy to go to a bar and watch it. But if we actually get people that want to go to the game, that'd be pretty awesome.
Okay, we'll put a poll, and we'll have people answer that.
Jay will take care of the poll.
Yep.
Frank writes. Daryl writes. The game against the Bulls was extraordinary. 17 points down within minutes to fight to get into to get in front in the third quarter. Then it was a joke of not being able to get the next basket to push ahead. Then a complete letdown. They did not know how to win. They did not know how to win, to be ruthless. If this is followed up with heavy lackluster losses, I'm sorry to say, but in a sport, the coach needs to be replaced. Rarely, if ever, do they have time to get the players back in modern contract cycles. Well, they beat Atlanta, so they rebounded.
I mean, are we saying that he's lost the locker room, or he's just not a good motivator?
Well, I think that was the idea. Maybe like he's a bad motivator. Maybe he's lost the team.
Well,
But
he doesn't know X's and O's, and he's not a good motivator. He's not doing anything.
But they beat the Hawks, so they came back and they kind of learned their lesson and played. I mean, it's hard to just based on what just happened. It's hard to say he's had a good week.
Yeah,
and they kind of just fell apart in the fourth quarter, and that happens, I guess. Apparently, he ripped the team. Apparently, he ripped the team big time for their lapse and them blowing it in the fourth quarter.
So maybe he did motivate them.
Maybe he did motivate them. Like he got really he got really fired up, ripped the team, and the team responded.
I would love to have seen that because I never see that guy with any emotion.
Alex writes, Knicks can sign players to 10-day contracts starting on Tuesday. What players should the Knicks bring in to strengthen the backcourt?
Torrey Murray.
Yeah. Find someone else in the D-League we don't know about.
Yeah.
Please have scouts. Grant writes, we play Atlanta again on Sunday. What are the chances that Fisher will use different strategy so we don't lose to the Hawks? They actually did use different strategy. That's pretty much it. Yeah. There was no questions after the game.
All right.
What did we... Oh, and Adam posted a picture of a frog. I think it's a frog in a Knicks jacket plugging a fork into a socket, which is kind of how it feels to be a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
What else? What did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that we have no idea what Fisher does.
Or Phil does, or anyone in the Knicks organization. I don't know. I mean, like, on the one hand, like, you might kill him, but the team is a lot... I mean, the players are better, and the team is a lot better than it was last year. Their defense is remarkable. Like, we're much better we're much better at defending the three-point shot than we were last year. We're much better at defending the paint than we were last year. Defense has stepped up a lot. Offense, I think we're better, but I don't know the stat guy. Where are you with the statistics? I mean, we have a lot more wins than we had last year at this point. I mean, it seems like we're going in the right direction. I don't know. The roster was just... It's hard to... The thing is, last year's team was a joke. It was like meant to tank. So...
Yeah, I mean, we can't really complain with what's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think based on what's going on now, that next year you'd expect the team to get even better.
I mean, we said somewhere between 35 and 40 wins. We're on pace for 35 wins, so...
You'd have to assume going into next season, you'd assume Porzingis would get better. Grant will... I don't know how good he'll be, but he'll get better.
He'll either get better or he'll be out of the league. One of those two.
One of those two. Melo probably won't be that much worse. O'Quinn will probably get a little bit better, getting more minutes. We'll add we'll probably add some guards.
Yeah.
I mean, the team should keep, like, the goal is to keep getting better. And by the time Porzingis really comes to his own, we win a title.
We'll have a bunch of cap room next year, too.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of cap room. So we're heading in the right direction. So maybe that's by the time Phil's ready to leave and return the Genie Bus, we'll win a title.
Look at that. Some positivity, people.
Yes. Hope. It's a dangerous thing. Go Knicks.
At NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter, the New York Knicks Podcast.com is our website. I'm still doing the player power rankings. Email us if you want to write some stuff. We had 2 guys writing for the website earlier in the season, and they were really good, but they seem to have both disappeared. So,
if you want to see the Knicks Podcast logo on a different item of clothing, email Jay. He'll get a bunch of them made and then keep bothering us to buy them.
We do have shirts for sale on the website. Down to our last 20. Really like to get that down to like 10 very soon.
What item of clothing would you do if there was demand to put on another item of clothing? Would it be pants? Would it be boxer briefs? What would it be, Jay? Spanx?
Maybe a hat? Snow cap?
That would make sense.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back next Sunday.
Yes.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye. You better go away.
I'm gonna leave you.
It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone.
Feels so good to say goodbye.
I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl.
Goodbye, 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 everybody.
Napa know-how.
The Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolored paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1,000,000-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.